Maya Rodriguez opened her eyes at exactly 5:30 in the morning. She did not need an alarm clock. Her body had learned to wake up at the same time every day during the war. 6 months had passed since the fighting ended, but some habits never went away. She sat up slowly in her small bed and looked around the tiny apartment. One room with a kitchen, a bathroom, and a window that faced the main street of Cedar Falls, Montana. The apartment was above Betty's diner where she worked. Everything was simple and clean. No weapons, no military gear. No reminders of who she used to be. Maya made coffee in her small kitchen. The smell filled the room and made her feel calm. During the war, real coffee had been impossible to find. Now she could drink it every morning. Such a simple thing, but it meant everything to her. She put on her waitress uniform, a pink dress with white trim and comfortable shoes. In the mirror, she looked like any other small-town woman getting ready for work. No one would guess that Lieutenant Commander Maya Rodriguez had destroyed 3 alien warships by herself. One knew that she had led the attack that saved Earth's largest colony. Here in Cedar Falls, she was just May, the quiet woman who served coffee and smiled at customers. The woman who never caused trouble and always worked extra hours when someone needed help. Maya walked downstairs to the diner. Betty was already there, cooking eggs and bacon on the big grill. Betty was 60 years old with gray hair and kind eyes. She had given Maya a job and a place to live without asking too many questions. "Morning, honey," Betty said. "You sleep?" "Okay, yes, thank you," Maya said. She tied her apron around her waist and checked that the coffee was fresh. The first customers would arrive soon. The morning rush started at 6. Farmers came in for breakfast before heading to their fields. Office workers stopped for coffee before driving to the bigger towns nearby. Maya knew all their names now. She knew how they liked their eggs and whether they wanted cream in their coffee. At 7:30, Jake Morrison walked through the door. He ran the auto repair shop down the street. Jake was tall with brown hair and hands that were always a little dirty from working on cars. He had been asking Maya out for coffee for 3 weeks now. Every time she said she was too busy. "Morning, May," Jake said with a smile. "The usual?" "Black coffee and wheat toast," Maya said. She poured his coffee and put the order in with Betty. Jake always sat at the counter so he could talk to her while she worked. "There's a movie playing at the drive-in theater this weekend," Jake said. "It's one of those old action movies." Thought, "You might want to go." Maya felt her heart beat faster. Jake was a good man. He was honest and kind. He fixed cars and helped his neighbors and never asked her about her past. But going to a movie meant sitting in the dark. It meant not being able to watch the exits. It meant letting her guard down. "I have to work this weekend," she said. "Betty could probably give you Saturday night off," Jake said. "Maybe another time," Maya said. She moved away to help another customer. At 10 o'clock, the morning rush ended. Maya was wiping down tables when Lisa Chen came in. Lisa worked at the town library and had become Maya's first real friend since leaving the military. Lisa was smart and funny and loved to read books about faraway places. "Hi, stranger," Lisa said. "I saved you a book I thought you might like. It's about a woman who moves to a small town to start over." Maya smiled. "Sounds familiar? Coffee?" Maya asked. "Always," Lisa said. She sat at Maya's favorite table by the window. "You look tired? Everything okay?" Maya poured Lisa's coffee and sat down for a minute. The diner was empty except for one old man reading a newspaper in the corner. "Just thinking about things," Maya said. "What kind of things?" Maya looked out the window at the peaceful street. A few cars drove by slowly. Children rode their bikes on the sidewalk. It was so quiet and normal. During the war she had dreamed about places like this. Now that she was here, sometimes it felt too good to be true. "Sometimes I wonder if I deserve this," Maya said. "Deserve what? This life? This peace?" Lisa reached across the table and touched Maya's hand. "Everyone deserves peace, May. Whatever happened before you came here, you deserve to be happy." If only Lisa knew the truth. Maya had killed hundreds of alien soldiers. She had made decisions that saved millions of lives but cost thousands of others. She carried the weight of every choice she had made during the war. Some nights she woke up screaming from dreams about burning ships and dying friends. "Thanks," Maya said. "You're a good friend." The lunch rush started at 11:30. Maya was carrying plates to a table when she noticed something wrong. A man in a gray suit had been sitting in the corner booth for 20 minutes. He had ordered coffee, but had not touched it. Instead, he was watching the street. His eyes moved from the front door to the back exit to the windows. He sat with his back to the wall and his right hand under the table. Maya's training kicked in automatically. She noted his position, his clothes, his behavior. The way he held his shoulders suggested he was carrying a weapon. Checking his watch meant he was waiting for something. Every instinct told her to get ready for trouble. But this was Cedar Falls, Montana. Nothing ever happened here. Maya tried to push the feelings away and focus on her job. At noon, the man stood up and walked to the counter. He was average height, with brown hair and cold blue eyes. When he smiled at Maya, it did not reach his eyes. "Excuse me, miss," he said. "I was wondering if you could help me with something." "What do you need?" Maya asked. Her hand was close to the coffee pot. In the war, she had learned to use anything as a weapon. The man looked around the diner. Most of the lunch customers had left. Betty was in the kitchen. They were almost alone. "I'm looking for someone," the man said. "A woman who used to be in the military. Goes by the name Lightning." Maya's blood turned cold. Lightning had been her call sign during the war. Only military people knew that name. Only people who had been there. "I don't know anyone by that name," Maya said. The man's smile got wider. "Are you sure about that? Because I think you know her very well." He leaned closer and spoke quietly. "Hello, Lightning. Enjoying retirement?" Maya's hand tightened on the coffee pot. Her body was ready to fight. But she was not Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez anymore. She was May, the waitress. She forced herself to stay calm. "I think you have the wrong person," she said. The man pulled a small device from his pocket and placed it on the counter. It was black and silver and no bigger than a phone. Maya recognized it immediately. A military communication unit. "The Alliance is reforming," the man said quietly. "Earth needs its heroes again." He turned and walked toward the door. At the entrance, he stopped and looked back. "Think about it, Lightning. People are dying while you serve pancakes." Then he was gone. Maya stared at the communication device on the counter. Such a small thing, but it represented everything she had tried to leave behind. The weight of duty. The burden of being a weapon. It's the endless war that never really ended. Betty came out of the kitchen carrying a plate of food. "Who was that man?" Betty asked. "Just someone passing through," Maya said. She picked up the device and put it in her apron pocket. It felt heavy against her leg. For the rest of the day, Maya went through the motions of her job. She served food and poured coffee and smiled at customers. But her mind was somewhere else. The peaceful life she had built in Cedar Falls suddenly felt fragile, like it could disappear at any moment. That night, Maya sat in her apartment holding the communication device. Outside her window, the town was quiet. Jake was probably closing. His shop, Lisa, was probably reading a book at home. Normal people living normal lives. Maya had tried so hard to be normal too. And maybe some people were not meant for normal lives. Maybe some people were meant to carry heavier burdens. She set the device on her kitchen table and stared at it. Tomorrow, she would have to decide. Stay in her safe, quiet world, or answer the call that might destroy everything she had built. Tonight, she was still just May, the waitress from Cedar Falls. Tomorrow could wait. 3 days passed before Maya touched the communication device. She left it on her kitchen table and tried to pretend it was not there. But every morning when she drank her coffee, she saw it. Every night when she came home from work, it was waiting for her. On Thursday evening, Maya was washing dishes when the device started glowing. A soft blue light pulsed from its surface. Maya dried her hands slowly and picked it up. When she pressed the activation button, a small hologram appeared above the device. Commander Rick Thompson looked older than she remembered. His hair was more gray and there were new lines around his eyes. He had been her commanding officer during the war, a good man who never asked his soldiers to do anything he would not do himself. "Hello, Maya," Thompson said. "I hoped I would never have to contact you again." "Sir," Maya said. Old habits made her stand straighter. "I know you want to stay retired. I know you deserve peace after everything you did for humanity. But we have a problem." Thompson's image flickered as the connection struggled. 3 members of Delta Strike Force are missing: Alex Rodriguez, Kate Williams, and Bobby Chen. They were captured 6 weeks ago during a reconnaissance mission. Maya felt cold. Those 3 soldiers had served with her during the worst battles of the war. They had saved her life more times than she could count. She had saved theirs just as often. What happened? Maya asked. Dominion remnants are still active in the outer systems. They've been attacking human colonies and using our own tactics against us. Tactics that only Delta Strike Force knew. Maya understood immediately. Extracted information from our people. We believe so. Intelligence suggests the enemy is planning something bigger, an attack on Earth itself. The hologram showed star charts and battle reports, dead colonists, burned settlements. Maya had seen it all before during the war. She had hoped never to see it again. "I need you to come back, Maya. I need you to help us get our people back before they give away everything we know about Earth's defenses." Maya stared at the reports. Families had died while she was serving coffee and worrying about movie dates with Jake. Children had lost their parents while she was learning to be normal. "How long do I have to decide?" Maya asked. "The transport ship arrives at Cedar Falls Airstrip tomorrow night. If you are not on it, I will understand. You have given enough." The connection ended. Maya was alone in her apartment, with the weight of the decision pressing down on her. She walked to her window and looked out at the quiet street. Jake's shop was dark. The library was closed. Normal people were home with their families, safe because they did not know about the dangers in the stars. That night, Maya could not sleep. She walked through the empty streets of Cedar Falls, past the school where children learned about safe things like math and reading, past the church where people prayed for peace, past the houses where families slept without fear. During the war, Maya had dreamed about protecting places like this. Now, she was part of one. But could she stay here while other places like it burned? The next morning at work, Maya was distracted. She mixed up orders and spilled coffee. Betty asked if she was feeling sick. Maya said she was fine, but she was not fine at all. Jake came in at his usual time. He ordered his usual breakfast and sat at the counter. But something was different about the way he looked at her. "You seem troubled about something," Jake said. "Want to talk about it?" Maya poured his coffee with shaking hands. "Just tired." "May, I know we have not known each other very long, but I can tell when someone is carrying a heavy burden. Whatever it is, maybe talking about it would help." Maya wanted to tell him everything about the war, about the people she had killed and the friends she had lost, about the choice she had to make. But how could she explain that she was not really a waitress, that she was a weapon that had learned to make coffee? "Some choices are harder than others," Maya said. "What kind of choice?" Before Maya could answer, Lisa walked into the diner. Looked excited about something. "May you have to see this," Lisa said. She had a tablet computer with her. The news is reporting strange activity in the outer colonies. Military ships are moving toward Earth. Maya's blood went cold. If the movement was visible to civilian news, then the situation was worse than Thompson had said. Lisa showed her the tablet. News reports showed military convoys and evacuation ships. The reporter said that government officials were not commenting, but sources suggested a possible alien threat. "Do you think there will be another war?" Lisa asked. Maya looked at the screen. She recognized some of the ship types. Emergency response vessels. Medical frigates. It's the kind of ships you sent when you expected heavy casualties. "I hope not," Maya said. That afternoon, Maya made an excuse to Betty about having to visit a sick relative. She drove her old car to the airstrip outside town. It was a small place that mostly handled crop dusters and private planes. But tonight, a military transport would land there. Maya sat in her car and watched the empty runway. In a few hours, she would have to choose. Go back to being Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez, the weapon that humanity pointed at its enemies. Stay as May, the waitress who wanted nothing more than to serve coffee and live quietly. Her phone rang. Dr. Elena Vasquez was calling for their weekly therapy session. Maya had been talking to Dr. Vasquez since leaving the military. The doctor helped her deal with the nightmares and the guilt. "Hello, Maya. How are you feeling this week?" Confused, Maya said. "I have to make a choice, and I do not know what." "Is right? Tell me about it," Maya explained about the communication device and Commander Thompson's request. She told Dr. Vasquez about the missing soldiers and the threat to Earth. "What does your heart tell you to do?" Dr. Vasquez asked. "My heart tells me to stay here, to be normal, to let someone else fight the battles." "And what does your mind tell you?" "My mind says that people are dying, that my friends are being tortured for information, that I have skills that could save lives." Dr. Vasquez was quiet for a moment. "Maya, there is no shame in wanting peace. You have earned the right to live quietly. But there is also no shame in using your abilities to protect others. The question is, can you live with either choice? I do not know." "Then maybe you are. Not ready to choose yet? Maybe you need more information." After the call ended, Maya drove back to town. She went to Jake's shop, where he was working on an old truck. His hands were covered in grease, and he had a smudge on his cheek. "Hey," Jake said, smiling when he saw her. "This is a nice surprise. Jake, can I ask you something?" "Sure." "If you found out that I was not who you thought I was, would you still want to know me?" Jake put down his wrench and looked at her seriously. "May I know you are running from something? I can see it in your eyes sometimes. The way you watch the exits, the way you listen to every sound. I do not care what happened before you came here. I care about who you are now. But what if who I am now is not real? What if I am pretending to be someone else?" Jake wiped his hands on a rag and stepped closer to her. Everyone has parts of themselves they keep hidden. Everyone has things they wish they could change. What matters is how you treat people, how you live your life day by day. Maya felt tears in her eyes. Jake was a good man. Odd. He deserved someone who could be honest with him, someone who could build a real life, not someone always looking over her shoulder for the next threat. "Thank you," Maya said, "for being patient with me." That evening, Maya walked to the airstrip. The sun was setting, and the sky was orange and pink, beautiful and peaceful. She sat on a bench and waited. At exactly 9 o'clock, a military transport ship landed on the runway. It was sleek and black and designed for stealth operations. Maya watched soldiers come down the loading ramp. They moved with the same careful precision she remembered from her own military days. Commander Thompson stepped off the ship and walked toward her. He was wearing his dress uniform with all his medals. When he saw Maya sitting on the bench in her waitress clothes, he stopped. "I was not sure you would come," Thompson said. "I am not sure I am coming," Maya said. "I need to know something first." "What? Are you asking me to come back temporarily or permanently?" Thompson sat down beside her on the bench. "Honestly, Maya, I do not know. This mission to rescue Arnie, people could take weeks or months. And if we are successful, there will probably be other missions, other threats. The galaxy is not a peaceful place." Maya looked at the transport ship. Inside were weapons and equipment and everything she would need to be a soldier again. Everything she would need to stop being May, the waitress. "What if I say no?" Maya asked. "Then we will find another way. It will be harder and more people might die, but we will find another way. I will not force you to come back, Maya. You have given enough." Maya stood up and looked back toward town. She could see the lights of Cedar Falls in the distance. Jake was probably closing his shop. Lisa was probably reading a book. Betty was probably getting ready for another early morning at the diner. "I need one more day to think about it," Maya said. Thompson nodded. "We will wait until tomorrow night." "But Maya, understand that every day we wait, our people suffer. Every day we wait, the enemy gets stronger." Maya walked back to her car as the transport ship powered down its engines. "What? Tomorrow night?" She would have to choose between the life she wanted and the duty she felt. Maya woke up early on her last day in Cedar Falls. She did not know if it was really her last day, but it felt that way. The morning routine was the same: coffee, shower, work clothes. But everything felt different now. At the diner, Betty was already cooking breakfast. She looked at Maya with concern. "You have been acting strange this week, honey. Everything okay at home?" "Just thinking about some changes," Maya said. The morning rush was busy. Maya served coffee and took orders, but her mind was somewhere else. Every customer seemed precious now. Mrs. Patterson, who always ordered oatmeal. Mr. Davis, who read his newspaper and never talked to anyone. Normal people living normal lives. Jake came in at his usual time, but he did not sit at the counter. Instead, he took a table by the window and waved her over. "We need to talk," Jake said when Maya brought his coffee. "About what? About whatever is eating you alive? I have never seen you this upset. Please, just tell me what is wrong." Maya sat down across from him. The diner was not busy yet, so she had a few minutes. "What if I told you that everything you know about me is a lie?" Maya asked. "I would ask what the truth is." Maya looked out. The window at the peaceful street. "The truth is complicated. Try me." Before Maya could answer, her phone buzzed. It was a news alert. She looked at the screen and her blood went cold. The headline read, "Alien Attack on Frontier Colony Leaves. Hundreds Dead." Maya opened the article. The attack had happened on New Haven, a farming colony on the edge of human space. The entire settlement had been destroyed. Men, women, children, all dead. "My God," Jake said, reading over her shoulder. "But those poor people." Maya stared at the photos. Burned buildings. Dead families. Looked exactly like the attacks during the war. She recognized the weapon patterns, the tactics. Her missing teammates had been forced to give away human defensive strategies. "I have to go," Maya said, standing up quickly. "May, wait." But Maya was already walking away. She went to the kitchen where Betty was flipping pancakes. "Betty, I need to leave early today. Family emergency." Betty looked concerned. "Of course. Honey, take care of yourself." Maya drove home and sat in her apartment, staring at the news reports. More attacks were being reported. 3 more colonies had gone silent. The pattern was clear. The enemy was testing human defenses before launching a bigger attack. Her phone rang. It was Lisa May. "Are you watching the news? This is terrible." "I know. Do you think they will attack Earth next?" Maya closed her eyes. I hope not, but she knew better. The attacks on the colonies were practice runs. The enemy was learning how humans defended their worlds. Soon they would use that knowledge against Earth itself. That afternoon, Maya walked through Cedar Falls one more time. She stopped at the school where children were playing in the yard. Their laughter echoed across the playground. During recess, they played games and worried about homework and crushes. They had no idea that somewhere in space, alien forces were planning their destruction. Maya walked to the library where Lisa was working. The building was quiet except for the sound of turning pages, of people reading books about faraway places, not knowing that faraway places were burning. Lisa said, when she saw Maya, "You look terrible. Are you sick?" "Lisa, can I ask you something?" "Always." "If you found out that your friend had done terrible things to protect good people, would you still be their friend?" Lisa put down the book she was holding. "May, what kind of terrible things?" "Killing, a lot of killing." Lisa was quiet for a way. Long moment. Were the people they killed trying to hurt innocent people? "Yes. Then I think your friend was brave. I think they did what they had to do." Maya felt tears in her eyes, even if it changed them, even if they could never go back to being normal. Everyone has darkness in them, May. What matters is what you do with it. Do you use it to hurt people, or do you use it to protect them? Maya hugged Lisa without saying anything else. Some friendships were too precious to risk with the truth. That evening, Maya went to Jake's shop. He was working late, fixing a car engine. When he saw her, he smiled, but she could see worry in his eyes. "You came back," Jake said. "I wanted to say goodbye." Jake put down his tools. "Bye. Are you going somewhere?" Maya sat on a workbench and looked at her hands. "Jake, I need to tell you who I really am. Okay, my name is not May. It is Maya Rodriguez. I used to be Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez in the Space Force. During the war, I killed a lot of alien soldiers. I destroyed their ships. I led missions that saved human colonies but cost thousands of lives. Jake was very quiet. Maya continued. I came here to hide from that life, to be normal. But the war is not over. Our friends are being tortured for military secrets. Colonies are being destroyed. Earth might be next. Hey, they want you to go back, Jake said. Yes. Jake leaned against his workbench. So the woman I have been falling in love with is actually a war hero. I am not a hero. I am a weapon that learned to make coffee. Maya, look at me. She raised her eyes to meet his. You are the kindest person I know. You work extra shifts to help Betty when she is tired. You listen to Mrs. Patterson talk about her cats for 20 minutes every morning. You help people carry their groceries. Whatever you did during the war, you did it to protect people like us. But if I go back, I might not come home. And if I do come home, I might not be the same person. Jake reached out and took her hands. Then I guess I will have to hope you come back. And if you are different, I will get to know the new you. Maya felt tears running down her cheeks. Why are you being so understanding about this? Because I can see who you really are. Under all the guilt and fear, you are someone who protects people. Someone who puts others before herself. I fell in love with that person, not the waitress uniform. That night, Maya packed her few belongings. She did not have much. Some clothes, a few books, photos of her parents who had died during the war. At the bottom of her closet, wrapped in an old sheet, were her military medals. She had not looked at them since coming to Cedar Falls. Maya held the Medal of Honor in her hands. She had earned it for saving the colony on Kepler 442, 3000. People had lived because of what she did that day, but 47 soldiers had died following her orders. At midnight, Maya walked to the airstrip. The military transport was still there, waiting. Commander Thompson was standing by the loading ramp. I was starting to think you had decided to stay, Thompson said. I tried to, but I cannot stay here while people are dying. Are you ready? Maya looked back toward Cedar Falls one more time. The town was dark, except for a few streetlights, peaceful and safe. The life she had wanted, but could not keep. No, Maya said. I am not ready. But I am coming anyway. She walked up the loading ramp and into the transport ship. Inside, everything was military gray and functional. Weapons, lockers, equipment storage, communications gear. This was her world. This was where she belonged, as the ship lifted off. Maya looked out a small window. Cedar Falls got smaller and smaller until it was just lights in the darkness. Then it was gone. Commander Thompson sat down beside her. The mission briefing will begin in 1 hour. We have located the prison facility, where your teammates are being held. Where? Tartarus Prime, deep in enemy territory. It will not be easy. Maya nodded. She had not expected Easy. Easy was serving coffee and talking about movies. Easy was what she was leaving behind. Who else is on the team? 4 specialists? All volunteers? All people who understand what we are asking of them. The transport ship jumped to faster than light speed. Stars stretched into lines outside the window. Maya was going back to war. Back to being Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez. Back to being the weapon that humanity pointed at its enemies. She thought about Jake and Lisa and Betty. She thought about the children playing in the schoolyard. She thought about Mrs. Patterson and her cats. All the normal people living normal lives. Maya had tried to be normal too. She had tried to put down the weapon and pick up a coffee pot. But some people were not meant for normal lives. Some people were meant to stand between the darkness and the light. The mission briefing room was small and cramped. Maya sat for other soldiers as Commander Thompson explained their objective: rescue the captured Delta Strike Force members. Prevent them from giving away more military secrets. Get out alive. The odds were terrible. The prison was heavily guarded. The enemy knew they were coming. Half the team would probably die. Maya looked at the faces of her new teammates. young soldiers who had volunteered for a suicide mission. They were scared but determined. They reminded her of herself during the war. "Any questions?" Thompson asked. Maya raised her hand. "When do we leave?" "Tomorrow morning. We'll drop you at the edge of enemy space in a stealth ship. After that, you are on your own." Maya nodded. Tomorrow, she would stop being May, the waitress. From Cedar Falls, she would become Lightning again. The soldier who destroyed alien warships and led impossible missions. But tonight, she was still caught between two worlds. The normal life she had loved and lost, and the dangerous life that was calling her back. Maya went to her small quarters and lay down on the narrow bunk. Outside, the stars were just points of light in the darkness. Somewhere among them were her captured friends. Somewhere among them were the enemies who wanted to destroy Earth. The rescue mission to Tartarus Prime took 6 days. Maya and her team traveled in a stolen alien ship, moving carefully through enemy space. During the journey, Maya got to know her new teammates. Lieutenant Ryan Foster was the team's tactician. He was young and brilliant, but had lost his entire unit during the last battle of the war. Captain Sophie Turner was their pilot. Her ship had been destroyed in the recent attacks, and she wanted revenge. Sergeant Carmen Delgado was their explosives expert. She was quiet and focused, carrying guilt from a mission that had gone wrong. Dr. Kevin Park was a scientist who understood alien technology. He had volunteered because his brother had been killed on one of the colonies. Maya looked at their faces during briefings and saw herself. Soldiers who had been hurt by the war and were still fighting because someone had to. On the 6th day, they reached Tartarus Prime. The planet was dark and covered in storms. Alien structures covered the surface like metal tumors. The prison was built into a mountain, surrounded by energy shields and guard towers. "The facility has 3 levels," Dr. Park explained, studying his scanner readings. "The top level is administration and guards. The middle level is general prisoners. Bottom level is high-value prisoners. That is where our people will be." "How many guards?" Maya asked. "At least 200, plus automated defenses and patrol ships." Foster shook his head. 5 people against 200. The odds are impossible." "The odds have always been impossible," Maya said. "That is why we are here." They landed the ship in a canyon 5 miles from the prison. The team moved through the rocky terrain in the darkness, avoiding patrols and sensor sweeps. Maya felt her old instincts coming back. The way to move silently. The way to read the landscape for threats. The way to become a weapon again. The infiltration took 3 hours. They climbed the mountain using routes that Dr. Park had identified in the facility plans. Sergeant Delgado disabled the outer sensors while Captain Turner created a distraction with false signals. Maya and Foster made it inside through a ventilation shaft. The prison was worse than Maya had imagined. The corridors were dark and filled with the sounds of suffering. Alien guards moved through the halls, checking on prisoners who were barely human anymore. The enemy had not just captured people, they had broken them. Maya and Foster reached the high security level and found the cells where human prisoners were kept. Most of the cells were empty. Others contained soldiers who stared at nothing, their minds destroyed by torture. In the last cell, Maya found her teammates. Alex Rodriguez was unconscious, his head covered with alien devices that had been used to extract memories. Kate Williams was awake but different. Her skin had a gray color, and her eyes were black. The alien infection was changing her into something else. Bobby Chen sat in the corner, rocking back and forth and talking to people who were not there.
"Alex,"
Maya whispered, kneeling beside him. "Can you hear me?" Alex's eyes opened slowly. It took him a moment to focus on her face. "Lightning, is that really you?" "It is me. We're getting you out of here." Maya helped Alex sit up while Foster worked on the cell locks. Alex was weak but could walk. Kate was harder to help. The infection had made her stronger but also unstable. She kept asking about sounds that only she could hear. Bobby was the worst. He looked at Maya without recognition and spoke about battles that had happened years ago. The torture had broken his mind and left him lost in the past. "We need to move," Foster said. "The guards will check this level soon." Maya helped Alex walk while Foster carried Bobby. Kate moved on her own, but kept stopping to listen to voices that were not there. They made it back to the ventilation shaft just as alarms started blaring throughout the facility. "They know we are here," Maya said into her radio. "We need that exit now." "Working on it," came the reply. "Give me 2 minutes." But they did not have 2 minutes. Alien guards were filling the corridors, searching for the escaped prisoners. Maya heard their harsh voices and the sound of energy weapons powering up. "Foster, take Alex and Bobby and get to the exit point," Maya ordered. "I will get Kate. I am not leaving you behind. That is an order." Foster looked like he wanted to argue, but he helped Alex support Bobby, and they moved toward the exit. Maya stayed with Kate, who was becoming more agitated as the alarms got louder. "The voices are angry," Kate said. "They want me to stay here. They want me to bring the infection to Earth," Maya understood. The alien infection was not just changing Kate's body, it was changing her mind, making her loyal to the enemy. Kate was fighting it, but she was losing. "Kate, listen to my voice. Remember who you are? Remember Earth? Remember the people we fought to protect?" Kate's black eyes focused on Maya. For a moment, she seemed like herself again. "Maya, I can feel it in my head. It wants me to hurt you. It wants me to hurt everyone. And fight it. I am trying, but it is getting stronger." Sound of running guards was getting closer. Maya had to make a choice. Try to save Kate and risk the entire mission, or leave her behind and save the others. Kate made the choice for her. "Go," she said. "Get the others out. I will buy you time." "I am not leaving you." Kate smiled sadly. "Yes, you are, because that is what good commanders do. They save who they can." Before Maya could stop her, Kate ran toward the approaching guards. Maya heard the sound of fighting and energy weapons firing. She wanted to help, but Alex and Bobby needed her more. Maya reached the exit point where the rest of the team was waiting. Delgado had blown a hole in the outer wall, and they could see their ship in the canyon below. "Where is Kate?" Turner asked. "Did not make it," Maya said. They rappelled down the mountain as the prison exploded behind them. Kate had destroyed the facility's power core, taking out most of the guards and buying them time to escape. The mountain shook and pieces of rock fell around them, but they made it to their ship. As they lifted off from Tartarus Prime, Maya looked back at the burning prison. Kate Williams had saved them all, but the cost was her life. Another friend lost, another sacrifice that Maya would carry forever. The journey back to Earth took a week. Alex recovered slowly from the neural extraction. His memories were damaged, but he was alive and getting better. Bobby remained lost in his broken mind, sometimes talking to Maya like she was someone from his past. Dr. Park said there might be treatments that could help him, but it would take time. When they reached Earth, Maya was surprised to see how much had changed. Military ships filled the space around the planet. Defense stations had been built at every jump point. Earth was preparing for war. Commander Thompson met them at the space station. "The information you rescued Alex gave us was valuable. We now know the enemy's plans. They're massing for a final attack on the Sol system." When Maya asked, "Soon, maybe days." "We are recalling every available ship and soldier." Maya nodded. The war was not over. It might never be over. But at least now Earth had a chance. 3 months later, the great battle came. Thousands of alien ships attacked the Sol system in the largest space battle in human history. Maya led, boarding parties against enemy command ships. Using everything she had learned about their technology and tactics, the battle lasted 6 days. When it was over, the alien fleet was destroyed and the threat to Earth was ended. But the cost was terrible. Half of Earth's space navy was gone. Thousands of soldiers were dead. Maya was in the medical bay when the victory was announced. She had been wounded in the final assault, but she would recover. Through her window, she could see Earth spinning slowly in space. Blue and green and beautiful, safe. 6 months after the battle, Maya returned to Cedar Falls, but this time she did not come to hide. She came to build something new. She opened a small coffee shop called The Landing. It served coffee and simple food, but it was also a place where veterans could come to talk and heal. Maya kept her military medals on the wall next to pictures of her friends who had died in the war. Jake helped her fix up the building. Their relationship was different now, built on truth instead of lies. He knew who she really was and loved her anyway. Lisa helped her organize support groups for soldiers who were struggling to adjust to peace. Dr. Park visited sometimes, was working on treatments for soldiers like Bobby, whose minds had been damaged by torture. Alex came by when he was in town. His memory was better, but he still had bad days when he could not remember simple things. On quiet evenings, Maya would sit on the porch of her new home and watch the sunset over Montana. Sometimes Jake would join her. They would talk about simple things like the weather and the crops. And who was getting married in town? Maya had learned that peace was not about forgetting the war. It was about finding ways to live with what you had done and who you had become. She was not May, the waitress, anymore. But she was not just Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez either. She was someone new. Someone who had fought in the darkness and chosen to build something in the light. The stars came out as the sun disappeared behind the mountains. Maya looked up at them and thought about her friends who had died among those stars. Kate Williams, who had sacrificed herself to save others. All the soldiers who had given their lives so that places like Cedar Falls could exist. Any regrets? Jake asked, following her gaze to the stars.